Tonight is the night to expand. The NAISCC Cup Series ended a few weeks ago, and it's time to expand to the Truck Series. Monday nights here on Freaky Fast, it's time to see these drivers, over 35 trucks, ready to attack Daytona here tonight, as we are here for the NAISCC Truck Series presented by Track Race Car Graveyard, here for the Rambling Redeemed 187 here at Daytona. Thank you for joining us all on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as it is going to be a blast to watch. 75 laps here at the 2.5 mile super speedway, where trucks expected to be side by side, 2 wide, 3 wide at times, for 75 laps. It is going to be a blast for sure, but before we get to more racing action, huge thanks to all of our amazing sponsors, starting it all off with Track Racer Refined Gaming. If you are trying to make a racing rig or even finish off a racing rig, Track Racer, one of the best out there. They are the best at making sure that your racing rig is at its prime state. I mean, even my brother uses it. I use Track Racer. They are some of the best rigs that you can get for yourself for getting into any type of simulations, that of racing or any other. Track Racer Refined Gaming. If you'd like to get a discount code, go on to Facebook, type in NAISCC, and they can get you a discount code with their Facebook page. And as well, Rambling Redeemed, we'll touch more on them later on here tonight. Also, for us at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, got to give a huge thanks to that at ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. ButtKicker's Gamer 2, if you haven't heard of it, well, it is one of the best ways for you to enhance your sim racing, as well as just experience in general. Instead of just hearing sounds, why not feel them with the Gamer 2 with your ButtKicker? You also can get 20% off your Gamer 2 from ButtKicker using the promo code that of FreakyFast20. That's Freaky with 2 E's, FreakyFast20, when you are purchasing your Gamer 2 from ButtKicker, as well as Makoni Setup Shops. We'll touch more on Makoni Setup Shops. Remember, from Makoni Setup Shops, it's our setups, but it's your victories. Again, thank you for everyone joining us here tonight for the NAISCC Truck Series Monday Night Racing at the Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. Running production is going to be Robert Moyer. And Zach, tonight, it's the start. It's the inaugural season of the Truck Series, and everyone is excited. The field continues to grow, and man, 75 laps of thundering side-by-side action we are getting prepared for.
Oh, man, it's going to be a fantastic night here, Sam. What a night to start it off here at the Daytona International Speedway. I mean, always attractive to kick off your season is special here at this 2.5 mile sacred oval, and I can just feel the energy in the air. I mean, look at all the trucks we have out here tonight. Over 11 teams in this series. This is going to be a wild race for sure. They got a little bit of practice left here still, but the energy levels are very high here tonight as this season gets ready to kick off.
Just looking at the numbers, 39 drivers potentially could be starting out tonight's race, and it's an expansion of what we've been seeing Saturday nights here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, where we've been seeing drivers running the Cup Series. Zach, you actually got to participate in that, almost won a championship, and now we get to see the drivers racing trucks Monday night. And the trucks and cups, very different when they're racing super speedway racing. Zach, we're seeing drivers right now, 2-truck tandeming, but what else are we expecting to see here tonight?
Oh, you know, we've seen a lot of hard racing through that Cup Series, Sam, that you were just talking about. That now transferred over to this just Truck Series. This is going to be even more wild when it comes, especially to the super speedway racing. We saw the Cup Series car not be able to get the runs that produce, you know, very good racing originally. But tonight, you're going to see 3, possibly even 4 wide racing. I would say majority of the time it's going to be 2x2. You'll see the occasional 3 and possibly 4. So going to have to hold our breath tonight. I would not be surprised to see a few trucks turn up after really even before the first stage at lap 30. So got to stay clean early in the going, but they do have one faster pair in their back pocket. But you don't want to be using that early here at Daytona because you know the big one is around each and every corner.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot for sure, as right now watching all the drivers attacking this course and getting prepared. But man, it is certainly going to be taking a quick second for a lot of these drivers to get a little bit acclimated with one another. There's such a large field that we're getting prepared for. A lot of these drivers, you know, half the field we've seen in the Cup Series, so they know how to run with one another. But the other half of the series, they're finding themselves learning how to race with each other. So it certainly is going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. And speaking of entertaining, our race sponsor, that of Rambling Redeemed. If you like watching videos, if you like watching different varieties of videos, or just keeping yourself up watching some great content, well, they've got themselves with Try Not to Last reactions, you know, short topical videos, and more. Go to Rambling Redeemed. Go look them up. They can keep you entertained. Thank you for sponsoring tonight's race. It's the Rambling Redeemed 187 at Daytona. But Zach, we are a minute and 30 seconds away from qualifying.
Yes, just mere moments away from these drivers getting out there on the track all alone, having to do 2 laps. And that's going to be very critical here, too, to see where you start, where you're at on pit road. But you know, I think it's not as critical as what we see in the Cup Series car. Tonight, I personally see somebody going from all the way to back to the front. It's going to be one of those wild Daytona races under the lights. I can't wait for it to kick off here tonight. And also, you know, not only do these drivers have a chance to get a season and opening win here and a series first win in the Truck Series, but also to lock yourself into the playoffs. That's a huge other factor. You win and you're in here in the Truck Series. I would be seeing a lot of drivers trying to go out there tonight to possibly have that wild card chance to get into the playoffs, where maybe they won't have that shot to points their way in or get a win later in the season. So big chance here for a lot of drivers tonight at Daytona.
It is going to be massive as we're coming up to just 30 seconds left in practice. Some drivers are trying to get a little bit more used to one another. How teamwork's going to be aligned, and teamwork is something that we saw a lot during Saturday nights for the Cup cars. But here for the trucks, we're going to see teamwork, we're going to see alliances, we're also going to see some betrayals, and we're expected to see the big one. That is something that is kind of an absolute. It's not a if, it's when, as drivers just trying to get a little bit more time in. But as you see, the timer is clicking down and qualifying just around the corner. Here for these truck drivers, it is going to be a lot of pressure, but Zach, you touched on it. It's not the most important thing in these trucks as much as it is in the Cups.
Yeah, definitely not as important. You know, this truck here has a huge draft bubble behind it. I mean, you know, in the Cup car, we get about 3, 4, 5 tenths behind somebody. That's when you start to really worry, and that's really only about a 5 car length gap that you can drop back from a Cup car without really starting to lose a good bit of speed. These trucks, though, 10 car lengths, or really 10 truck lengths back, you have a pretty good draft still. So we're going to not really see anybody lose the pack unless you're personally trying to lose it yourself or you get caught up in something. So tonight, you're always going to be in it, even if you're back there in the 30th position. you can fight your way forward. It's going to be tough because there's going to be a lot of trucks out there, so that's going to create somewhat of a roadblock because I think a lot of the lanes are going to be taken up with the amount of trucks we have. So qualifying will be important there with how many trucks we have because of track position with that. But I've seen drivers work their way through these fields like magicians. I would not be surprised if someone can get their way from the tail end of this field all the way up to the lead.
And also, we're seeing drivers attacking the outside wall early, trying to build up their speed and momentum. Well, we've touched on a few of our sponsors. We're going to finish it out with a couple of more. Huge thanks to our primary sponsor, title sponsor of the NAISCC Truck Series, that being Race Car Graveyard. If you want to find yourself with any type of decals that collectors are looking for, anything from 124s to 164 NASCAR decals are available, used or custom, and you can go get them right now as well. You can use the promo code RCGY, that is RCGY, and you can receive a 10% discount code on your next purchase. If you want more from Race Car Graveyard, go follow them on their Instagram at Race Car Graveyard. You can message them, redeem, and as well, go find yourself with some great decal cars that honestly, decals, a lot of them are coming in, becoming a lot more of a collector's item as the years go on by. And it certainly is amazing to have a title sponsor joining us in the Truck Series as drivers putting down their first lap times and getting ready for their second.
Yeah, first time on the board there for the first time around. Ethan Smith, and interesting call from him there. He's on the bottom around here in the very first lap. Sean Huffstad are going to jump to the top of the board as his first lap is a 52.24. So drivers electing to take the bottom lane on that very first lap. This may be something to these trucks that I don't know here, Sam, but these drivers all electing to take their laps on the bottom. Very interesting call.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think with the trucks, yes, it takes time to build up that momentum, but they're not going as fast as the Cups or Xfinity's cars would go. For these trucks, they're topping out around 172 on the straightaway to 171, and then through the corners, they dip down to 168. So just trying to stay smooth, not to waste any type of momentum as Ethan Smith come across the line. He was second before coming across the line for the second time around, and it looks like Sean Hutztetler going to be top of the board currently, but we still have 2 minutes left and half the field still to go out there if they want to put down a time.
Yeah, if you guys jumping up the board now as they're getting their second lap in. So if you guys did elect to take the outside line, one of those that noted was Brandon Colley. Here's we ride on board with Aaron Craley. He's taking the bottom here on his second lap. So we'll see what he can produce. As the first lap, there was a 53.113. So that definitely had to be a top line lap there for him. So he's electing to do the Cup Series strat. But from what I'm seeing, the laps that are producing the best ones are the drivers that did both laps on the bottom. So definitely what you allude to there, Sam, these trucks being a little less power and a lot less quick in, the mile per hour department. So you get up the speed actually a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that long. You see Crayla going onto the apron, trying to gain as much time as possible for the 0-1, as his time's going to come across the board. 20th currently for the 0-1, as you see Carl Pooler going to be now on track for the 71 machine. Going to be 17th currently on the board. But you're seeing drivers filtering in. Currently only 29 times have been set so far for this field, and certainly the pressure's on if you're going to go out there and set a time. But Zach, there's also the other strategy of drivers that want to stay in the back at the start of this race.
Yeah, that's going to be something interesting to watch. The drivers who, tried to qualify up near the front, maybe didn't get as good as qualifying position as they want. They might be in that teen region from 10th on back, and that's the most dangerous region of this racetrack. When you get about 15th, 16th in these 30 truck packs, it's very dangerous in the middle. So I would not be surprised to see a few guys maybe bail out of that situation, try to jump back, get a few seconds behind the pack, and kind of ride there. We'll have to see how you do it because you got to be careful. You can't just, lift off the gas and pull out of the track. You will cause an incident doing that. You got to be very meticulous at how you want to drop back. So we'll see who decides to do that, who decides to stay up front, because this place is going to get very wild once we get the green flag here.
Stone not able to finish out his time. Just a couple of hundreds of feet left from crossing the line there, but was not able to make it. But drivers now starting to line up, pile in. as we are getting ready for our Hot Lap Designs qualifying results. If you would like to get any type of design, such as paint schemes, driver suits, or helmets, Hot Lap Designs has got you covered, and they'll create anything from old NASCAR schemes, brand new ones, or stuff that's just designed for you. You know, anything from dirt oval, asphalt, also road courses, anything you need. It's Hot Lap Designs. They can do it. As it is time for us to get our qualifying results, we throw it over to you, Zach.
Yes, sir. It's starting up front. Going to be Sean Huffstetler to kick out the series here. As alongside him will be Ethan Smith in the 00 machine. Third is going to go to Jacob Morrison, that 10 truck. Fourth is going to be Thomas Green. Fifth place man is going to be Brandon Colley. Sixth is going to go to Jesse Thornick. Seventh is going to be Danny Cochran. Eighth is going to go to Ryan Ferrero. Ninth is going to be Dakota Moniz. 10th is going to go to John Forbes. 11th position is going to go to James Hubble. 12th is going to go to Zachary Compton. 13th is going to be Tyler Dingler. 14th is going to go to the 15 of Vincent Sora. 15th place is going to be Preston Cope. 16th is going to be Trevor Earhart. 17th is going to be Cody Dorsey. 18th is going to go to Martin Morales Jr. 19th is going to be Kyle Pooler. 20th is going to be Tanner D. Johnson. 21st is going to be Joshua Pike. 22nd is going to be John McAdams. 23rd is going to be Aaron Kralik. 24th, James Loveland. 25th is going to be Christopher Norris. 26th is going to be Justin Starnes. 27th is Nicholas Compton. 28th is going to be Gregory Shaw. 29th is going to be Christopher Couric. 30th is going to be Billy O. Smith. 31st is going to be Jeffrey Stone. 32nd is going to be Jarrett Telmage. 33rd is going to be Joshua Freed. 34th, Thomas Walter. 35th, Max Foner. 36th, Robert Schmock. 39th is Kyle Guildhouse. 37th is Kyle Schweitzer. 30th, rounding out your field, is Tony Ludi as our 38 truck field here. Pulls off in the pit round.
Got them all done. We'll let Zach get a little bit of a breather as we talk about some of our last sponsors of the night. We'll touch on them a little bit more throughout the night, but huge thanks finally to McConey Setup Shops. McConey Setup Shops, if you need to get setups, anything from dirt to asphalt, from legends to cup cars, they've got you set up there for setups. If you'd like to get some of the best setups out there on iRacing from McConey Setup Shop, use the discount code FFB10. Again, FFB10 for 10% off on those setups. As well as we'll touch on more that McConey Setup Shop can give you. But honestly, here tonight, it's all about the trucks. It's all about starting this inaugural season for these truck cars. Monday Night Racing. Sean Huffstetler, otherwise known as the Professor, going to be starting with the pole position with Ethan Smith, who is outside. But Zach, it's going to take us most of the season for us to get every single name perfect throughout the season and get used to these schemes. But man, it is exciting to get this season started.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can feel it in the air right now. It's just going to be amazing to get this green flag with all these trucks out on track. What a great series we got before us here on Monday nights. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and welcome to the ride of Monday nights here.
Monday Night Racing, it's the NAISCC Truck Series presented by Car Racer Graveyard for the Rambling Redeemed 187 as we wait for the pace truck to pull off. There he goes. The field is set. They're lined up side by side. Green flag in the air. We are green, and the season begins here at Daytona for the Truck Series.
Great start from the bottom line of Sean Huffstetler. They're going to pull one truck ahead as everybody looks like they're starting to dive down low. We got 2 or 3 trucks from that outside that dive down. We got another truck jumping up back there about 10 rows back as everybody jockeys through turn 1.
It's all about figuring out how you find your friends. Right now, down below, it's Sean Huffstetler, Jake Morris, working with one another of the 94 and the 10. 2 of the trucks on the inside, 2 trucks on the outside. That's the 00 of Ethan Smith, as well as that of Thomas Green in the 3. Side by side, and this is something that you don't usually get to see in the cup cars that we weren't really able to watch that much of side-by-side racing. That's what we get to see with the trucks. We're expecting to see this for most of the race. As here comes Morris to the outside, pitching Smith up into the wall. Got to be careful as we're already 3 wide coming across the line, but it's Sean Huffstetler leading lap number 1 for the inaugural season.
Oh no, and Ethan Smith Good qualifying position there in second. It's going to get left out of the dry as Morris jumped out to that top line, trying to get the help up there as they're going to be looking to take the lead. Ethan Smith in that third leg going to be dropping back in that double zero, trying to hang on to anything to see if anybody will help or a slot opens up for him.
As you can see on the top left of our ticker, stage 1 on lap 30. That's right, we're going to have stage racing, only 2 stages for that of lap 30. So drivers, was talking to them, trying to get a sense of what the fuel mileage was looking like. Based on the fuel, the driver should be good to make it to the end of the stage without having to worry about pit stops. And tires as well, not really a factor for these drivers to worry about. But the patience level, that's something right now that I think that is cranked completely down. Intensity's up. This is going to be Morris bobbing and weaving, a little bit of a bump he didn't like to feel. And now everyone trying to settle back down with the road again, scrambled, wrecking the back, the big one early.
And I think Preston Cope right there in the 14, that's where it started around. That was the first truck I seen around there, guys. Big one already early here on lap 3.
I mean, really, it was just the accordion effect building up from that initial shuffle we saw up front, from that of Morris as well as Green. But man, everyone now trying to calm down, and early damage. Already drivers going to be forced into using their fast repair this early on. You got to be feeling for some of these drivers that were hoping to have a smoother run, as here's your freaky fast broadcasting replay. Drivers ducking it low, and just not enough space for the amount of carnage of drivers and the way they were racing back there.
Yeah, like you said there, that checkup just led to all that transpiring there. The 14 really had nothing to do with that. He had to duck out low, and he got ran into behind. So, yeah, that's a tough position. That just shows you when you have 38 trucks out there, when something happens up at the front of the field especially, the effects of it on that 20th place, the 18th place truck, is gigantic. That accordion effect just happens so quick, and you got to be on top of it. And a lot of trucks here hurt early, like you said, having to use a fast repair.
Already going to be taking the tow. It looks like it's the 14, Preston Cope, who's going to be back in 38th position. And a few other drivers going to be just puttering along who have got major damage to the 0-1 of Kralik, the 83, as well. Going to be drivers that are heavily damaged. I think I also saw that of Gregory Shaw, heavily damaged, the 9, as well as Cody Dorsey. But man, Zach, we knew that drivers were feeling that energy. They were excited about this season because the trucks just allow you to be more aggressive. But that aggression also can build up to this, bringing out our first caution of the night.
Yeah, it can quickly lead to this. And, you want to go out there, get, moves done, have fun. With this truck package, you drive it, it's really fun as a driver because you have a lot of options. You can do things that you really can't do in the other cars as well as you can do in these trucks. They have a lot of, suck up power behind these cars. They just make such a big hole in the air that you get such big runs that you can do a lot with it. So you want to be able to use it, but you can't use it too early, in my opinion. You got to save those big moves and those big runs for the end of the race. You can't be pushing through the corners, and that's something we're already seeing here on lap 3. It's only going to lead to more incidents like that, so drivers got to watch out, pushing the boundaries of pushing those bumpers, and you got to be centered. It's all about centered to the back bumper.
Back bumper got to be centered, and honestly, I think for a lot of these drivers, they're going to be probably this was the best cooldown that they could have asked for. Just get to reset. Half the field coming into pit road, going to get service done. The first of those drivers going to be that of Tanner Johnson, the 23, back in 20th position. Everyone else further back coming in, getting service done for themselves. But the drivers from 27th on back, extended time on pit road, getting themselves repaired. And I think a lot of these drivers hoping that they are not going to be forced into using a fast repair. That's why we're seeing a lot of drivers trying to just repair as much as they can currently. But there's already 2 drivers that are going to have to use a fast repair. That's going to be the 83 as well as that of Starnes, who's going to be Justin Starnes in 17 and 24th place, having to use their fast repair this early on.
And Huffstetler, that's why it's so good to be out front like him, Sam. You get the qualify up front, ride that bottom lane, and really hope that the driver behind you is working with you and not shoving you too hard, but also pushing you along good enough to be able to hold that lead. Huffstetter was able to ride out there in front, not have no issues, and really we've seen the issues there with Morris. He jumped out there from that bottom line and tried to make stuff happen. Got a little bit of a push there from the 3 of Thomas Green and almost sent him around. That's what caused our accordion effect there. So we'll see if the aggression level maybe drops down a little bit with the pushing, but I would expect nothing less with this big a field, the energy of the first night here, the opener of the series. There's so much energy in the air that I think a lot of drivers are just trying to make their mark on this series here tonight.
Yeah, trying to make their mark, trying to calm down. Biggest things for them right now, our top 5 going to be that of Sean Hutzteller, Brandon Colley, Jacob Morris, Danny Cochran, and Ryan Ferraro going to be your top 5 as the drivers on the backstretch. Zach, I know you were looking at teams and where drivers lied with alliances with one another. How big is teamwork here for these drivers early on and throughout this race?
You know, teamwork at a play track is very, very crucial. It's crucial that you want to get your pit stops and your strategy mostly done with them. In the truck series compared to the cup series where we've seen teamwork was everything, I think here's a little bit more 50-50. You got to have teamwork, but you also got to be able to know where to put your truck too, because there's going to be holes that open up that you got to decide to go in by yourself and just hope that it works. You can't just play that team game here with the truck. It's just way too hard to hold people off. So we'll see. But like I said, you still got to have a teammate. It'll always help to have that one person you know will go with you in those crucial moments.
We're waiting for the Pace truck to pull off. Top 19 drivers did not come into pit road. Everyone from 20th on back got service done. Some for fuel, some for tires, some just to get repairs done. But we are green once again for that of the Rambling Redeemed 187 for the NAISCC Truck Series going into turn number 1. And this is all presented by Race Car Graveyard. Get yourself decals at that of Race Car Graveyard on their Instagram. Side by side, going through turns 1 and 2. It's Brandon Colley, Hutzteller trying to pull away, as right now on the inside we saw Jacob Morris be aggressive, trying to lead that outside groove. I think that's the driver we got to watch out for with how aggressive the 10's been at making late moves and blocks. Might be someone that we could see either causing the big one or having the perfect move to get the win done.
Yeah, you know, Morris is definitely trying to get stuff done here tonight quickly, it seems. Pushing very hard, got Huffstetter out there a little bit ahead of that 3rd truck there on the bottom line. But you got 2 good pushers on the outside line there. You got Danny Cochran lined up behind Brandon Colley there. Lead a pretty good line there as they come through the tribal. They're going to pull out ahead here. I know is actually heading down to 1. We'll see if that outside line can get moving. This truck allows that outside line to get a big run.
And with the drivers side by side, and you can start to see it's not as much packed in as it once was during the first 5 laps, mainly because some of these drivers' safety nets is gone, and other drivers realizing they're underpowered with all the damage that they had taken on with themselves. So, Zach, that mindset that some of these drivers are coming in with, that aggression, I would imagine it's switched now with some of these drivers losing that fast repair.
Oh, that is completely switched, Sam. You lose that fast repair, that's your safety net here at Daytona. You know, if you got a fast repair, you feel kind of safe at all moments here that I have at least a shot if my car gets completely destroyed to get right back in the action. You lose that fast repair, immediately your mind clicks into survival mode because you know you got stages and cautions coming up soon. You just got to get there. There's no point to go out here and lead laps. You get a point for leading a lap, of course, but you know, after that's over, you got to lead the most if you want to get that next bonus point. So really a lot of risk there to try to lead the most laps at a track like this. I think you're going to see a lot of guys who have used that fast repair kind of ride back here and just try to stay out of anybody's trouble.
The speeds coming into the corner, 188 miles per hour is how fast our leader just came into turn number 3. And if you think back to qualifying, the drivers by themselves were just running at a little bit over 171 miles per hour to 172. So already seeing over a 15, 16 miles per hour difference when you're in this large pack that's up front compared if you were by yourself. The speed there as Brandon Colley pulling himself on the outside, trying to make the move forward as you see some of the drivers in the middle of the field. Tanner Johnson, who is just fired in the middle, and he's got to pick a lane because if you hesitate on where you're going to go, that is going to be a very good mixture of green out of yellow.
Yeah, you cannot get stuck in that middle and be, meandering around there at that middle line. It gets very dangerous. But you see Johnson, he's got a good look up ahead of him on the field up here as he rides in the back. But that front battle is getting a little bit wild. Colley's had a few bumps in the back end from Cochran. That's kind of sent him a little bit off-centered and got him a little bit loose there. And, at some point, Brandon's going to have to pull down to the low line. They've been getting him out ahead and clear, but he's been trying to, control Cochran around with him. But at this moment, Cochran probably needs him to get down because we haven't talked about this yet. Oil temperature and water temperature is interesting back there in the wall.
In the wall, slowing down, fading back, I believe. That was that of, I believe it's 18 that was losing a lot of ground. That was being Jeffrey Stone. Eric getting into the outside wall, losing ground, completely jacked up that outside lane. And as now, for the 18 Stonies, on to that backpack of drivers that are trying to get aggressive up front, but we're now seeing a couple of defined grooves in the packs that are being made. This lead pack just staying side by side, but everyone else kind of willing to fade back to where they're at. But this lead pack being a total of 17 drivers, all packed in, 18 drivers in this lead pack side by side. Then it's back to 19th, where we find the second group of cars all in line, but still attached to that lead pack's draft.
Yeah, looking throughout this field, like I said, the first pack there just double file. Everybody else trying to just ride in line here. But I tell you what, some of these guys are probably going to have to be worrying about their temperatures, especially up top. The driver I'm worried about the most with that is Danny Cochran for sure. He has been tucked up behind the back bumper of Brandon Colley for a while, and same really for Jacob Morse there on the bottom with Sean Husteller. Those two trucks have definitely got to be suffering with some overheating at this moment. It's really interesting to see how long they've been able to stay tucked up right behind him here, pushing this hard. Looking back here, it looks like Anthony Ludi here in the 95 machine. He's lost a little bit of time here to the back of this pack.
Ludi, one of the drivers that started further back in the field and currently up to 27th, but yeah, by himself currently. And for Ludi, he's just on the tail end of a group in front of him. That's going to be Max Foner, Thomas Walter, Thomas Green. All these drivers still in line with one another and just waiting until they want to really make the push forward to get aggressive in this lead pack. I see Billy O. Smith going to be back in 28th. And these drivers further back, for that Smith, their whole entire goal is to stay with at least the front, or at least with some type of pack, because you do not want to be by yourself.
Oh yeah, you alluded to the difference in the speed there, Sam, between qualifying and the race. When you're by yourself, you are standing still pretty much compared to the pack that's going by. So it's definitely an interesting moment when you're out there by yourself. You're just trying to find somebody to latch onto, and sometimes you just can't find nobody. You're just out there kind of almost like you're drifting around the ocean by yourself. You're trying to find a log to hang on to and float yourself. That's what you're trying to look for, some drafting partners. So we're looking back here is, man, there was a lap car. I don't know what car that was getting lapped here right there. It might have been actually Jarrett Telmage, or unsure if it was actually, no, sorry, it was Gregory Shaw up there in the third line. He held that third lane and they lapped him, and that one got very, very close there, Sam, for a few moments with some guys.
Yeah, we have a couple of drivers that actually have gone a lap down, as we're going to move up to see Gregory Shaw, who's in 33rd position. Shaw just finding space for himself. The 66 in the middle of this lead group, but right now first car a lap down as we're halfway through stage one. This is when things get precarious, because you've got three other drivers that are a lap down, and now it's a battle to make sure Shaw is the first car a lap down, but the driver he's battling is that 83. That is the other driver one lap down that they're battling with.
Yeah, that's a little battle now we got to watch there between these two to see who can, and also Robert Schmuck, who's a good bit back for them, so he's not going to be having much shot there unless these two get involved in a wreck here. But Shaw and Jarrett Tillman's there now have to do battle here, because that stage caution coming up, they have a guaranteed caution pretty much. So if you can just be the first car lap down, you can get that lucky dog, but they got to watch out for other drivers getting lapped. So you always got to be on your head on the swivel to see who's ahead of you when you're lapped down.
Talmage was involved in oh no, drivers in front, contact gonna be made, as you see Talmage slowing down, contact for himself, and all of it happened in front, and hard wreck. And with Talmage being having contact as well
And
as Shaw.
Yeah.
That means the 60's going to be getting that lucky dog, I believe.
Yep, it worked out for Rubber Schmuck there. Yeah, he's definitely going to take advantage of that there and be our lucky dog out of all that. So, wow. Well, we're just talking about that battle, and that, I mean, sometimes that's why you want to be away from the wrecks.
Here's going to be our replay of what happened here. Just drivers trying to get down. It looked like the 17 thought he was clear. Was not. And hard contact as everyone else just piles in. And I mean, you got some drivers that are slowing down, others that are trying to just full send it through. That was a very unique wreck of drivers just coming in and some just feeling out of control once they saw all the carnage.
Yeah, didn't work out for a few of those guys trying to get through there at that pace, but just looking over that's just a case right there of the 17 Justin kind of following the guy in front of him that he's drafting off. I see it's a very common case I see with a lot of drivers sometimes. That car in front of you that you're drafting off of, you're trying to stay right in his tracks to get the most optimal draft. He makes a movement down the racetrack, and you follow him, but there's a car to your inside. It's going to create a big issue like we've seen right there. And unfortunately, you got to always be paying attention to that inside lane and listening to your spotter because you're not clear till you got an open lane.
Interesting moves going to be made for the drivers now into pit road as it's going to be John Forbes as well as Brandon Colley into pit road leading the first group in. And those two drivers were not involved with that initial wreck. They're just deciding to go in, get service done. And that's an interesting call to be seen from these drivers just coming in, topping off with fuel and getting back out there as we were expected to see at least 8 other drivers coming in that were involved in that second wreck of the day. But Zach, I mean, what are you thinking on the drivers that just came in just to top off? When for Brandon Colley, he was up in our top 3.
Yeah, and from Brandon Colley's standpoint, I don't like the call. The only reason I don't like the call there is he's in that top 3 like you alluded to there, Sam. He's got track position. He's in a very good spot. If I'm one of the guys near the tail end of the line or in the middle of the pack, I come down and get fuel because at this, stop here at lap 30 when we get that stage caution, I'm not going to take no tires then most likely, and I'm going to be able to take less fuel so my stop should be quicker where I gain some positions and maybe get some of that track position I'm looking forward to getting to. Because from what we've seen, we get into this too wide action here. Nobody's really going forward too much, though. You're trying, everybody's kind of just in a train following each other. So track position is looking to be key. So interesting call from Brandon there to give up that position. But I think guys farther back, that was a no-brainer for them.
As looking at the drivers and where they lie currently, our top 10 going to be that of Sean Hutztettler, Jacob Morris, Danny Cochran, Jesse Thordick, Ryan Ferraro, Vincent Sora, that of Zachary Compton, as well as that of Trevor Earhart, Dakota Moniz, Martin Morales. I mean, looking at our top 10, most are drivers that we've seen in the Cup Series that were racing on Saturday nights. But newcomer, that of Compton, going to be in 7th. But I think that's one of the more interesting things of looking at how our field lies currently is a lot of the drivers that are up front are the guys that we've seen racing with one another week after week on Saturday nights. They're up front while the newcomers and drivers that were not a part of the NAISCC family from the Cup Series, they're now the ones that are further back and got to figure out how to work with one another to push forward to challenge those that are up front.
Yeah, these guys up front, they have a lot of experience, Sam. So, and especially racing with each other. That's another big factor. You get used to guys' tendencies and you figure out how to work around them and how to even work with them. So I think you're going to see a lot of these guys here working together. They got a good relationship, a lot of these guys up front. So they're probably going to be looking to hold these positions here and try to fight it out with them throughout the race here and for this stage win. So, a critical thing is getting those 5 points. It's that top 5 that gets points. And that's a tough thing to do at a plate track. I mean, that you could be the 3rd car in a lane and not get a point because, the way 2-wide racing works. So got to be in position here. I expected even, that aggression level to pick back up here before the end of this stage.
Sean Hutztettler, Jacob Morris, Danny Cochran, Jesse Thordick, and that of Ryan Ferraro, your top 5. As the drivers getting set and ready to go green, have had 2 cautions, 2 pretty big wrecks, but none of them have been drivers that are up front. I think we'll see anyone who's in our front 10 get spun around and we can collect a lot more other drivers. Then we can say that that is the true big one. Pace truck is off, drivers stacked up, and we are green here for the NAISCC Truck Series presented by Race Car Graveyard for the Rambling Redeemed 187 as the drivers thunder down the front stretch into turn number 1.
And it looks like a great jump down there for the bottom lane down there. If I believe it's Jesse Dornick who is going to jump down there in that 20 machine to get to that third position. That's going to let Morris drop back, but here comes the help on the outside line. Here comes the big push.
Just right on top of one another, and not really giving a bump just yet as we're riding on more trucks on the outside. Moving forward and making some great moves as that was the 14 pushing, the 15 of Vincent Sora, giving a massive shove to the 10 of Jacob Morris, making the moves forward, and some of these trucks and drivers recognizing, hey, we can get aggressive here early on, trying to make the moves early, but you touched on it, Zach, those attempts, also a big factor to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely a big factor. And right here riding on board with Vincent Sora there on that outside lane. Vincent is ahead, and we're right with Trevor Earhart, but some good drivers right here in the mix. Some of the favorites, I believe, for this championship battle up there in front. Sora's got to be one of those favorites, and right now trying to take an early lead for that 14th qualifying position. Great one for him.
Surveying aggressive up front. Do want to give note to some of the drivers that are still in pit road getting service done. Preston Cope, as well as Justin Starnes and that Greg Rashall, all in pit road, been in there for multiple minutes trying to get repairs done, as they have already, I believe, used their fast repair. So they're stuck with what they've got. That means they have to manually repair everything in pit road.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate circumstance for those guys. They're having to get the work done, but they'll try to grind it out possibly here and get as many points as possible. None of them have took it behind the wall yet, and that's good to see because you're going to need every bit of points possible to get into those playoff positions. Oh, there we go. Huffsteller jumping up to the outside line at 94. He's looking to get the push here from the outside line of Vincent Sora.
Going to be trying to get the push, trying to block, trying to defend as much as they can. Vincent Sora, such a fast driver and probably one of the more consistent of the drivers that showed up during the Cup Series. Didn't make every single race during the Saturday night Season 3, but certainly was here consistent. And that's one of the things for the 15 that he's got to carry over into this Truck Series is that consistency. But this is Daytona. It's super speedway racing, 2.5 mile course of honestly randomness. You are going to be needing a lot of luck. You're going to be needing skill, patience, help from everyone around you. But honestly, it is a toss-up on who's going to win this thing, because when that white flag waves, gloves are off, any move really can get you a win.
That it can, and we got a big run down the back straightaway now. Vincent sort of going to pull dead even with Sean Huffsteller on that outside lane with the help of Trevor Earhart there, giving a good push. But, you alluded to Vincent there, talking about, his consistency and his talent from the Cup Series. And I personally, coming into this, I look at him to be the favorite. He didn't get a win in that Cup Series, but I tell you what, he fought for the lead and led multiple races that season in the Cup Series. And first-hand experience just racing the kid. He is very talented. I would be looking at him to be possibly the man to beat this season, but I'm looking at other guys in here. There's definitely some dark horses.
Oh, absolutely. But if we're looking at the drivers from the Cup Series, Sean Huffsteller has to be top of the board. A driver that made it for the championship 4, had a shot to win the championship, but came up short for the 94. But certainly one of the drivers that we've seen also race in other series Wednesday nights for the Underdog Racing League here on Freaking Fast Broadcasting. We've seen how Sean can be quick and fast in the Truck Series. Wouldn't be surprised if we could translate that over here to Monday nights, as right now it is side-by-side racing. Drivers coming to the line, coming to 6 laps to go before stage 1 comes to a close. Only the top 5 get bonus points, and you'd love to notch in a stage win to start out the season.
Yeah, this is going to be wild coming down to the end. They're going to start pushing a little bit harder. They're already setting up pretty big runs, but I think you're going to see possibly that third lane coming to the picture here late in the last few laps of the stage here. One driver I'm looking at the back there who kind of worked his way back into the picture is Brandon Colley there. He's up to 16th. He was near the 20th position there after that pit stop. He's made up a few spots, but we'll see if he can try to make up a few more here before the end of the stage.
Yeah, looking at some of the other drivers that are up a lot of positions, just gaining positions. Maybe they didn't qualify that well, but certainly been making a surge the 69, excuse me, of Chris Curtis, who's going to be one of those drivers who's done a great job moving forward, as well as that of Jeffrey Stone, who we saw brush the outside wall just a couple of laps ago. He is still moving up quickly in the 18, one of our biggest movers right now, both up 20 positions from where they qualified.
Yeah, you know, I talked about how hard it was to get passes done. These guys are showing that it's doable. You just got to take your time, work your way by here in each position. Is we're looking at highlighted here, Dakota Moniz there. He's in the 13th position, started 9th. He's going to be looking for a good run. There's Jeffrey Stone, who did get into that wall and worked his way back into position. You got to give him credit there like that. Like you said there, Sam, as he's trying to fight forward again in that 18 machine. But out front still, Sean Hufsteller flexing the muscles as he's continuing to lead this race.
Still continuing to do so as we are coming up to 4 laps to go here in stage number 1. We saw the 17 low. He actually was in pit road, had been in pit road for 9 minutes, was able to get the repairs done, back out on track, but he is extremely off the pace. But you know, for some of these drivers, they might not have the best run here tonight, but you have to continue to have that mental fortitude to stay out there on track and gain every position you can and bank on someone else struggling as you're just out there puttering along.
Look at that there. The 15 pulls ahead. Does he jump down? A little bit hesitant there to jump down there. Earhart's going to maybe jump out on him. That's going to create a stack up with Morales there in the 24. Ooh, that got very, very close there on the outside lane.
That was a little bit of deja vu of what brought out our first wreck, where it was up front, a little bit of disputing, a little bit of a brushing here or there, and it just accordion all the way through the pack as yellow's going to wave, and drivers further back bringing out the yellow, and it's carnage on that of turns 3 and 4.
Oh no, and that's going to bring it into the stage there too, guys.
I believe that's going to be, with the timing of this caution, ending stage 1. As some of the cars back there, Billy Smith, as well as that of James Hubble, going to be bringing out this one, as we're going to take a look at this replay for these drivers. But yeah, Zach, I think with the timing of this caution, this will be ending the stage. As you see drivers trying to avoid lap traffic, and it just didn't go well as drivers going up and down, and the 17 extremely under speed and just running in the middle of the pack. That's not a smart thing to do as a driver that's underpowered and bringing out a caution here late.
Yeah, that was not the greatest moment if I've ever seen from somebody right there. So I'm going to have to look at that one. The drivers, I mean, you know, definitely held his line, but the car was just so slow. It's just a lot of guys going different ways, and that got to be carnage there. And that's to bring our early into our stage there as the battle was starting to heat up. I was just about to say Cochran got to the outside of the line with that moment from Sora there. That was possibly going to be an interesting moment. But Sean Hufsteller, pole setter, now winner of the stage. He's on a roll here to start the season. And I tell you what, he like you said there, Sam, I completely forgot. That looped out my mind. He made the Final Four in the Cup Series, so you definitely got to be looking at him as possibly even the favorite here also this season.
Yeah, absolutely, as drivers coming into pit road, getting service done for themselves. Stage 1 is closed, and now drivers going to be coming in, trying to get service done for themselves. But third caution of the day, you know, talking to some of the drivers, they were telling me the fuel run anywhere from 35 to 40 laps, it felt like. So they knew they were good on fuel to finish out this stage, but now it's a question of how will the end of the race go with the timing of this caution. We're going to take a quick commercial break here for end of stage 1. We'll be right back for more racing action here at Daytona for the NAISCC Truck Series presented by Race Car Graveyard. Get yourself decals at Race Car Graveyard on their Instagram. We'll be right back for more racing action.
want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flags Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the NAISCC Cup Truck Series, as we have evolved, expanded. It is great to see, as this is all presented by Race Car Graveyard for the Rambling Redeemed 187. As we are side by side, stage one came to a close. It's now all about racing it to the end. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. In productions is Robert Moyer. And Zach, we've been seeing these drivers being aggressive. We were talking about it under commercial break. Fuel looks very not good for them to make it to the end from here.
Yeah, fuel is definitely going to be an issue if we stay green. So, those chances, I would say if you're a betting man, I would bet against it staying green. Most likely with the race that we've seen so far, how tight and aggressive these trucks battle. So, going to see how that works out. But, Brandon Colley out front and Tanner Johnson here in the 23, they elected to stay out. If it does stay green, though, they run into the risk of where they got to pit before everybody else do, and they'll have to pit by themselves. What they're hoping is majority of the drivers would pit earlier, but I don't know. I think most drivers will wait because they're worried a caution will come out. There's so many different things, but you can also play this race like a road course and pit at a certain time to where if the caution comes out, you're, cycled to the lead as everybody else pits. So lots of different strategies that could be played here. I think track position is what a lot of guys are focusing on, though.
Yeah, a lot of them got to be focusing on that, as Tanner Johnson currently leading with the guy that was dominating the first stage, that being Sean Hutztettler on his back bumper. 23 of Tanner Johnson, excited to be back on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Used to be covering a league that he was a part of, but now we get to see him coming into the truck series for the NAISCC crew. And, Zach, it just seems like whenever we broadcast a new series, or from past series, they always seem to merge together and blend at some point, where drivers just love to be here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
Oh yeah, man, it's a great time to be on here. I love racing on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I mean, you get to see this 1440p crystal clear action when you go back and watch your races, and you get to hear Sam Dyer broadcast majority of the races. I mean, what can you say better about that than Freaky Fast Broadcasting as it is, man? It's such an enjoyable time.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, though, for that of Tanner, he was someone that I put the pressure on. Before we went live, during practice, I went into the drivers' lounge, talked to some of them, got their feels. Everyone was excited, but I put the pressure on Tanner. I said, I think that you might be the winner for this race. And, this 23, I've seen him in other leagues be able to win. It doesn't matter which super speedway we're at, what car or truck we're in. Tanner Johnson knows how to get wins done. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in victory lane later here tonight.
Well, he's got one of those boxes checked, and that's leading out front. You got to be doing that if you want to win. So you can see Tanner Johnson there working that bottom lane. He's got Brandon Colley in that one machine working the outside line, who has the help of Danny Cochran. Those two that won in that number 2 truck, they seem to be forming a little bit of a relationship on the racetrack here, helping each other. And they even got his the teammate of Danny Cochran there, Vincent Sora, from Cochran and Sora Racing. So those two teammates behind Brandon Colley there, the lone man out here on the racetrack tonight for his team. It's definitely interesting to see those two teams working together, though.
Working together, trying to find where they want to be placed, and some of the other newcomers that are here that I've covered before. that of Zachary Compton. I mean, I've seen the 81 do well in other leagues previously, and that's one of those drivers that we've seen develop in different leagues, and I'm excited to see. I mean, it has been kind of a melting pot, seeing a lot of different drivers wanting to figure out how to join the NAISCC crew. We saw how I had a lot of friends messaging me figuring out, how do I join that Cup Series on Saturday nights? Well, a lot of drivers got the opportunity to race here in the Truck Series, as we are now on lap 37 of 75, so we're getting closer and closer to halfway. But Zach, it's been awesome to see the drivers that have been veterans in this league, in this series, growing and seeing the new guys coming in there from other leagues or just drivers we've never met. That this is exciting to see what talent and skill they've got.
Oh man, it's amazing to see. This is one of my favorite things when you see drivers from different series come together, and you get these really high. The competition level just keeps raising. And the thing about, I always say to people, when the competition level raises between the skill level of the league and the amount quality of drivers you have, everybody's level rises. Everybody gets better. You learn from the best, and that when you have better drivers out there, you learn from. It's just a critical thing, I think, for leagues. And what quality drivers they have here tonight with the newcomers and the experienced drivers from the Cup Series. It's just really cool to see the merger of a lot of these names together.
A lot of the drivers in the middle of the pack certainly getting slicing and dicing around, trying to figure out where they want to be placed. But currently up front, it is that of Tanner Johnson on the inside, with Sean Hutzstutler following behind with that of Jacob Morris. But on the outside, you've got Brandon Colley, Danny Cochran, as well as Vincent Sora. That outside lane, those first three cars, drivers that we have seen do so well in the Cup Series. The question is, how well will they do in the trucks? And what a move, Sean Hutzstutler to the lead with one fell swoop out of turn number 4.
What a move from Hutzstutler. He's flexing the muscles here tonight at Daytona. Qualified on pole, winning the stage. He says, I want to get the lead back here from you, Johnson. As Tanner Johnson, though, fighting back strong with the help of Jacob Morris on the bottom. So that bottom lane, though, I'm telling you, that thing has looked strong all night. The outside lane I thought would be the way to go, but the bottom lane has prevailed.
That could be a preview of who could win this race with that type of a move, as it was Sean Hutzstutler across the line by 0.05 of a second, as drivers getting low, getting a little bit frisky, got to be careful of where they lie. But currently, that driver I saw get out of shape was Ryan Ferraro, who easily got back in line. But drivers side by side. And Zach, I know we were talking about fuel, but also the potential of this race not staying green to the end.
The chances of this race staying green are very low, in my opinion. These trucks, all it takes is one miscalculation from these drivers, and it happens in a split second. You don't have time to say, okay, I need to slow down at this point. You got to react. And if you don't react, collisions happen. And when collisions happen here at Daytona, there's not much space to go. You think of this track being a super wide track. We had more guys sideways coming down into there. That could have been the big one at that moment, but they're going to haggle through it as we hop on board with Jeffrey Stone in this 18. It was directly ahead of him with about 3 trucks. A truck just dead sideways off the 2 there. But when something happens here, it's so quick. You have to react immediately. The reaction that you do, if it's wrong, it's going to end up very bad.
Yeah, the driver that I think we saw get out of shape potentially could have been that of Mark Morales, who got out of shape for a second there. But Stone wanting to get out of it as quickly as possible. Brandon Colley can be finding himself not that second car in line or first car in line on the outside, drifting back to third in line. But as we're seeing the drivers that are up front, getting aggressive, making some moves that really are a little bit dangerous in my eyes, but still amazing to see. Trevor Earhart now going to be leading that outside group for the 99. But got to be careful where you place yourself, because if you try to make any type of aggressive moves, that was a little bit of a poor bump of Sean Hutzstutler onto the 99, getting him out of shape. But this front group, they have been making a lot of daring passes, aggressive moves, which is showing to me that this is a ticking time bomb, as Tanner Johnson, he did not pit under stage 1 brake, so he now has come to pit road by himself. Worst case scenario for the 23.
Yeah, that is not good for Tanner. He was hoping for some type of yellow to help him out there. Now he's going to be all by himself once he comes down pit road. He's definitely going to lose a lot of time. He's going to have to be hoping some type of caution comes out of this race to get him back into this business here. But now the action picks up. Jacob Morris going to take the lead there, but Trevor Earhart on this outside line getting the help of his teammate Sean Hutzstutler from More Cash Racing. They're coming down the back straightaway here with a big head of steam with Brandon Colley behind him.
They're going to be certainly surging, and the question is, do you want to even try to attempt a bump in the corner? That is probably one of the more dangerous spots, as well as the tri-oval positions where you can get a large run, get on someone's back bumper, but it's kind of a hesitation move if you want to try to attempt to make that type of a pass.
And you can see here, Earhart tried his best to get any little bit of a run with the help of his teammate Sean Huffsteller. But that outside line, they've had moments where they have pulled ahead, but every time the driver out there elects not to pull down. I think that's the wrong call for him. You just stack that outside lineup by not doing that. Once you get a truck out ahead, you kind of need to shuffle that truck down and then focus that back in. Ooh, there he goes. Earhart with a big push down to the bottom there. He's going to take it. Huffsteller now going to try to get a push from maybe Colley here. If he can clear Earhart, who is his teammate, can kind of slow up that bottom line, let Huffsteller get out in front of him. They can get control of that bottom line with two teammates. That'll be critical for them, and I think that's something that's about to happen here in a few moments.
We're starting to see Sean Huffsteller doing his best to try to be moving forward on the outside. Going to get a little bit of a helping bump out of the tri-oval from the one. Colley trying to get the professor, Sean Huffsteller, to the point, but just not able to. And yeah, I mean, that outside groove, like you noted on, they're not making the passes like they should be, quote unquote, doing. But at the same time, I mean, do you even want to attempt, or maybe some of these drivers seems like they want to be that lead outside truck just in case for later on in this race they're in that prime position?
Yeah, I personally, they come up here on the lap truck.
No.
Oh no,
Oh,
this is not going to be good.
Oh no. This is a worst case scenario. The 75 is going to cause the big one. One car goes around potentially as they spin on the apron. We stay green, but oh my goodness. And now caution going to be thrown by the admin because of that move. Lap traffic, indecisive, and it cost the front pack.
Yeah, that was Billy O. Smith there in the 75, and that was some interesting decision making from him there in the 70 machine, or 75 machine, I must say.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, oh, that was just bizarre. As
Yeah.
the leaders were talking on the radio, trying to get the car out of the way, as this was an earlier incident. I believe this was caution number 2 of the incident that happened. But I mean, that's probably one of the more frustrating things to watch as a broadcaster, because you see the lead lap car come together, and then you just see a wreck coming too. As man, that is frustrating to see.
Yeah, and what's crazy about this is really only 4 trucks kind of involved in that incident, so not many trucks taken out by it. But the truck that kind of caused that there, the lap car of the 75, I mean, he goes away escape free from it. So it's kind of one of those deals where it's that's an unfortunate incident there that it's going to catch. I believe that's the 70 there of Joshua Pike. He's going to get called out in that. Also, I believe that was Jesse Thornock who took a little bit of damage there. So multiple guys getting nose and damage there, about 4 trucks involved, but that could have been way worse.
It really could have. And with the timing of this caution, the driver that is going to be taking a huge advantage of this, Tanner Johnson, now going to be a driver that is going to be back with this lead pack. He's already pitted. He's good on fuel to make it. If the 23 wants, he could stay out and get right back to the lead, which that's exactly what he's going to do as the rest of the field coming into pit road. Besides that of the 81, Compton decided to stay out for himself.
Yeah, and like you said, go to work out for Tanner Johnson there. That early pit stop there, not having enough fuel to make it. He luckily gets that timely caution, and guess what? He can make it to the end from where he pitted. So he's going to jump all these guys and get some good track position at 23, be able to be back out front. Another driver who was probably thankful for that, Brandon Colley. He probably wasn't too far away from having to make a pit stop also.
As looking at this field and where they're at right now, I mean, this is man, that is probably still, I'm baffled by that wreck that we just saw. And the whole entire drivers that are all in communication right now, they're all trying to debate on what happened. And a lot of them are just saying, hey, he thought the lap car was going to go one direction, went the other, and everyone else had to try to avoid in the moment. And, I touched on the fact that they're about 16 miles per hour difference between when you're in the pack and when you're by yourself. And with that lead pack catching up to the lap cars, that closing rate so quick, and you don't have a lot of time to try to make any type of evasive move to avoid that type of carnage. But up front, going to be that of Zach Compton with Tanner Johnson, Sean Hutstadler, Trevor Earhart, as well as Jacob Morris. Going to be your top 5, Ethan Smith, Brandon Colley, Martin Morales Jr., as well as Vincent Sora and John. That of Faber's going to be in 10th position as the rest of the field getting stacked up and ready to go.
Yeah, it looks like Tanner Johnston there in the 23. He's actually going to hit pit road here, get him some tires and fuel in that number 23 machine. So he decided to go to the track position. He should have been good to go on fuel. It would have been, on the more close side, especially if we got some green-white checkers involved. But he would have been good if it would have, had a few more cautions, which are possible for sure.
Oh, absolutely. As drivers stacked up, ready to go. You are watching the NAISCC Truck Series presented by Race Car Graveyard for the rumbling redeemed 187 at Daytona here on the Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If you would like to subscribe, we've hit our mark of 1,000 subscribers, and now our goal has changed. We're going for 2K. We love all support as we are preparing for our new goal. Thank you for everyone that helped us get to 1,000 subscribers. We're excited for that to continue. But here, Monday Night Racing, we're excited. 4 cautions so far this race as they are stacked up, ready to go racing. As we are past halfway, the intensity has risen to a new level as we continue on.
Yeah, this is going to get right back to the cutting board for these drivers. They're ready to go again as we line it back up. Zachary Compton out front, going to be leading his first laps of this season, first laps here in his career at the league. So we'll see what he decides to do here on this restart.
Base truck is off, and the rest of the field getting ready to go racing. As it's going to be Compton on the inside, getting a great launch for himself. As you've got that of Hutstadler and others stacking and ready to grave as they are green. As it is going to be the 81 on the inside. Going to be getting some help from Earhart in a little bit of a swap where drivers were at. But a driver we haven't really touched on since earlier in the race, the 0 of Ethan Smith trying to make this charge. But it's the 5 Dakota Moniz, 3 wide, back for battling for 12th position.
Yeah, first driver to elect to take that third lane and really use it is Dakota Moniz. He's working the top groove. Also, I think I see Max Foner up there in the 51. He's the second truck up there as we got multiple trucks looking to jump up there possibly now as we go through 3. Yeah, Ethan Smith also worked his way back to the top 5 after getting left out to dry early. What a drive back for him.
And then you also see the blue-white machines, that being Tomek as well as Green Racing, working together, and I'm excited to see how the 83 and the 3 are going to attack these front runners. They've been just lingering around 20th all race long, been staying in the back, draft of this lead pack. They've not been getting too aggressive, as been seeing the 3 and the 83 now on screen, just lingering where they're at right now. They've got a lot of fast drivers around them currently. I mean, you've got some of the drivers, Jesse Thordick, who's been up front before. You've also going to be seeing Tanner Johnson and others as slicing through the middle, moving forward. That's going to be the 8 who's just, everyone else is moving forward. You're backing off. We'll take off.
Oh, man, what a move there from that number. Wow, that was a great move, and they're still going forward there. Wow, look at the run.
Looking to see who exactly that is, and I believe that's John and McAdams that's just surging forward.
Looks like
actually
29 of Kyle Guildhouse there.
He's a lap car.
Through. Wow, yeah, 3 laps
car
down.
Using, pretty sure he used a fast repair and just said, you know what, everyone else plays conservative. I want to go forward as a lap machine. And Guildhouse of the 29, he is currently 3 laps down, so he has to be aggressive here. Make sure he's up front and might have to manually, do it the hard way to unlap himself.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if he can continue that progress that he was doing there through that mid portion of the pack. Now, as he gets to that front pack, it's going to be a little bit harder. These guys pushing a little bit harder, possibly up here, as he looks to fall in line. But he's also got to stay out of trouble. That's one thing. You're right in the middle of everything. He gets caught up in something now again. He's going to go even more laps down. But he has nothing to lose technically at this point.
drivers just riding along at this point. It's kind of a waiting game. I mean, everyone, they know they're good fuel-wise, but we are coming up to 20 laps to go here shortly. And Zach, I mean, at what point, yes, we know everyone with how much time's left in this race, anyone that's even further back that's on the lead lap, back to 30th, they still have a shot here really to win this race. But at what point does it become I need to move forward now if you're back in 20th to 30th position?
Yeah, if you're one of these guys really past the top 20, I think you need to get going. Really, you need to start really thinking about getting to the top 10. It's tough. You can see up ahead here. Where do you go? You got to go to the very top of the wall, and you got to have help up there. Many drivers are not going to elect to do that till very late in the race, so you better be trying to slide a few spots where when that outside line does start moving up top in that third lane, you can actually jump up there and get something done. But right now, it's kind of just a big old train of trucks on the both bottom and top there, so can't really go nowhere unless you're making some type of aggressive three-wide move.
Yeah, I mean, we have to go on the outside because here at Super Speedway Racing at Daytona, finding that the drivers, if they try to go down below the yellow line and advance their position, you will be penalized. As right now up front, watching all the drivers, as right now you got the 11 that we're looking on board, but all the drivers can feed us information on where they're at, where they live in their hometowns, different features, as well as putting on their photos to get a little bit more engagement here on Freaking Fast Broadcasting. Love the fact that drivers telling us where they're from and where they're at, and also getting to show off their talents here on the racetrack.
We just had an interesting situation up here. Jacob Morris and Zachary Compton there on that bottom line there. They got the lead back from Sean Hofstetter, who took it, and those two are teammates there on that bottom line. Now this gives Brandon Colley the advantage up top here. He's got Vincent Sora and Danny Cochran there. Those two teammates work on the outside again with the one. So we'll see if they can get something working on this outside line with 23 to go.
As well as Max Foner, who is up 27 positions, and Thomas Walter as well, up 25 positions. The biggest movers so far, they are making their surge with 22 laps to go. It's Brandon Colley trying to make that outside line work.
And he do this. We're seeing him work that outside groove. They're getting a pretty big run down this back straightaway. And I tell you what, that 15, he's a great pusher. I know that from experience. He can push very well. He's got to be careful, though, not to push that one around, as they had a big run, but had to kind of back out of there with a big moment.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing these drivers trying to work with one another. We know that you can push a truck, but how do these drivers focus? When you're on that outside groove, you really don't have a line, it seems like, on track to keep your eye on, to focus and land on. How do you lead this outside pack when you've got a driver that's hounding you on the back bumper?
The key to leading is just you got to hold a steady wheel. If you're moving back and forth, left and right, not holding a steady line, is very close between Morris and Colley there on the entry. If you're not holding that steady line like you need to do out front, it is so hard to push somebody when they're weaving back and forth. When you hold that steady line, they can get right lined up perfectly with that bumper and give you the nice shove. And when they're shoving you, it's all critical about being able to keep your truck straight. You see there when Vincent Sora shoves Brandon Colley, he starts to go left and right and weave back and forth a little bit with that push. That is not going to work. They have to be able to push that one truck, and he be able to keep a straight line. As there goes Hofstetter getting the jump up to the outside line. Colley said none of that. I'm going to jump 3 wide to the outside, but I think that's a bad call for him there. He's going to go straight to the back.
Yeah, and this was something we were talking about before the broadcast went live. Brandon Colley not having any teammates. So you're kind of just trusting the alliances and drivers you talked to before the race, as the one continues to fall back. No help. Went from leading and having a shot to win to now has to recover all the way back to 14th now.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate moment there for Brandon. He's got to settle back in and hopefully try to slide in behind Morales. And I think there's a little contact between those two. It's going to put him up into the wall. And, oh, no, they're wrecking behind him.
47 got to be getting out of shape, and we've got to be holding on. That of John McAdam. As drivers hold on, oh no, the lap car into Brandon Colley. His bad luck from the Cup Series carries over here to the trucks.
Yeah, being Brandon's teammate in the Cup Series, this guy does not have the luck, man. I don't like to say luck is a thing in racing, but if there is, he's got terrible luck, guys. I'm telling you, stuff happens to him that you just don't normally see happen to a lot of people.
Also, just, I mean, well, it's the same guy, it seems like. Hopefully, Billy will clean it up, but man, has it been a troublesome night for that team and the rest of the field around them. But up front, it's going to be that of Zachary Compton, Sean Hustetler, Jacob Morris, and others as they're coming up to lap traffic. Last time we saw a large group of lap traffic. The big one was about to be looming over, as well as we got to worry about Zachary Compton's fuel. We know that 81 did not pit under that last yellow, and he is too far out, it looks like, fuel-wise to make it, but it's going to be close if somehow he saved enough fuel under the pacing as lap traffic going to that third lane. Everyone's trying to side draft, get a little bit more speed as they're roaring down the backstretch.
Oh, big tense moments here. Tanner Johnson, unfortunately, going another lap down here in that 23 machine. So that's going to put him 2 down there after being in the lead a few moments not too long ago. So unfortunate for him there. You know, the drivers who got caught up in the incident before a few laps ago, they got to keep their head down and stay focused, because if we get a caution here at any moments, they could possibly have a fast pair in their back pocket and have another chance. And with 18-17 to go, this is only going to pick up between these drivers having contact.
Yeah, I mean, looking at some of the drivers right now, you got up front, you got to worry about Compton and his fuel, if he can even make it. I think he's banking on a yellow to come out, and he wants to be the lead driver because we have not seen a leader be involved in a wreck just yet. But you also got to be thinking about the aggression as we're seeing the 15 right on the back bumper of Hutsteller trying to make a move, trying to push, and now going to be dumping the driver out of the way. Sean Hutsteller, who dominated stage 1, he's falling back. And this is, we've already seen, when you're stuck in that third lane, it is not safe to be at all. He almost gets contact, but finding space is the 94.
Oh, he luckily jumps down there in front of Tanner Johnson in the lap car. Luckily for Hufsteller, no incident like Brendan Colley there to knock him out of contention. But now Sora getting the big push from his teammate Danny Cochran. They got Hufsteller out the way. Now the teammates there working together. 16
laps to go, as it is really looking at where this field lies. It is not over yet, as we know that it is still, you got drivers that have to get moving now if they even want a shot to win this thing. And you've also got the mixture of drivers that are a lap down currently that are going to be making this final bit of this race interesting, as drivers on top of one another up front. Got to be careful, as that of Cochran as well as Vincent Sora being aggressive with side drafting as well as pinching down on that lower groove. That could be causing an incident if they continue to bump off one another.
Yeah, this could get real bad real quick with how these guys are driving. With 15 to go, these guys are trying everything they can to get position on each other, but you gotta stay calm here in these moments, not get too much. It's too early for that type of racing.
15 laps to go, and right now, looking at Zachary Compton's fuel load, he is going to be falling short about 7 laps to about 6 laps shy of making it to the end. So right now, the 81 has to stay up, and we finally got to see it, Zach. The top 2 able to make the move, and Compton out of control but holds on as they're going through 3 and 4.
What a move between the teammates of Danny Cochran and Vincent Sora. Great push. Here comes Compton. He has to pit for fuel. Man, he was waiting for that caution, did not get it. Now pitting on pit road.
Talking about drivers where they could stay in the back. Anyone has a shot to win. It's Max Foner, Thomas Walter, 2 drivers up 30 spots each. It's Max Foner. He's up 34 positions. For that, Thomas Walter up 31 positions before they qualified, and they're leading the outside row.
I tell you what, Vincent Soares getting more and more aggressive with his side drafts here, getting up to the door of that 51 in the center of the corner and coming back down to slow that run they had. It really worked for him too, as they're able to pull a nose ahead here down to 3. Foner and Walter, 2 teammates up top, but the thing also they got to worry about is Ferrero there in the 12. He's teammates with Cochran and Sora out front.
Looking at the drivers up front, we're seeing a new batch of drivers. We knew the surge was about to come, and the drivers that were staying patient for the first 80% of this race. It's go time, and now we're seeing the swap. Max Foner as well as Thomas Walter, 2 drivers we haven't seen all day, as they're going by the one of Pat McCauley. Oh man, you just hate to see the one being lapped down, passed by everyone. A driver that looked dominant earlier on, now being passed by everyone like he was standing still. Vincent Sora going to be blocking him to the high side, and now we're going to be seeing Vincent Sora as well as, oh boy, here comes Danny Cochran to the outside. It's the 2 and the 15 defending the front row.
Oh man, this is getting wild. Sora trying different things here, but he might try things where he ends up in the wall and his teammate slides up in front of him. That opens the lane for Jacob Morris here. He's saying, thank you guys, I'll take the bottom here, give me a push, and I'll try to go to the front.
Second car on the inside, it's Christopher Norris. Haven't talked about the 38 that much all day long. And behind Norris is the lap car of Tanner Johnson and also that of Jeffrey Stone. We've seen Stone get into the outside wall how many times tonight? I mean, it continues on. Contact up front. Going to be side by side for the lead. And as it's going to be that of Morris holding strong as he gets shoved up to the front and getting away from that outside row.
Oh, it's all transpiring now. That's going to put Foner up to the top of the lane. Here comes Ethan Smith behind him with a big push. I do not know how this is all going to work out here down to the end, but Christopher Norris, what a move by that young man to get himself up into the top two.
Norris is moving up as well as we're starting to see some other drivers that are in the back tail end of the top 10 starting to make their surge forward. But now the question is, are you making the move a little bit too early? Coming to 11 laps to go, 10 when they come across the line the next time by. And it's Danny Cochran moving up, and it seems like one of those drivers, if you're on a high line, if you find space, you have to come down. We touched on it so many times earlier on. But oh no, it's going to throw over to the outside wall as they completely scatter and dice all over the place. We stay green as the carnage is on the inside as they're coming across on the back on the racing surface. We still stay green as they move along as our leaders coming up the lap traffic. Finally, the yellow is thrown by the admins. Caution 5 as we're coming to 10 laps to go.
Wow, that was an interesting moment there. And good call by the admins there. That was definitely a caution-worthy moment there, if there ever was needed one for admin caution, because that was a major wreck back there.
It was huge, and here it is. The 12 Ferraro going to be getting into the outside wall, comes back down. Blimpview given a better scenario of just everyone. Some drivers coming to complete halts, trying to slow down. Other drivers just full sending it. And that's been the biggest thing here tonight. Is there some wrecks where, you know, it seems like it might be only 3 to 4 drivers that are first initially involved, but the reaction by everyone else around is what makes these wrecks go from just 3 drivers to 10 or more. And that was certainly the biggest one of the night as drivers had to take the tow, other drivers piling in. But with the timing of this caution, Zach, this is now going to be putting these drivers in a scenario. It's going to be less than 10 laps to go. And the amount of drivers that were involved in that wreck, we could be finding ourselves with only about 22 to 20 drivers still left on the lead lap.
Yeah, this is set up an interesting scenario here, you know, especially for drivers like that are trapped a lap down that maybe want to try to fight for a lucky dog here. Because I think the lucky dog position here, because, you know, yeah, we got 10 to go. It'll be probably, I'd say, at least 8, 7 to go once we get the green flag here. We get another caution. You never know. Some of these guys a lap down could get back in position even there. So you can't give up if you're outside of the lead lap. But really, everybody from 24th on, they have a shot here, especially if you have a decent truck. You know, you could have some damage and still get along with the trucks here, especially in the pack. But once you get out front, it will affect you. But right now, the nerves have got to be turned up to a whole different level, because when you get restarts in these trucks, they're so sluggish and slow getting up to speed that runs get generated very quickly if you don't get going right. And whichever lane gets it timed right and gets the speed built up the most is going to be the lane that goes forward. And then from there, you're going to see a lot of big blocks.
Yeah, as we are now less than 10 laps to go. Do you want to give a note? Ryan Ferraro, who was involved in kind of the catalyst of that the most recent wreck and caution that we just had, he has parked it for the day for the 12. As you see that of Martin Morales just trying to coast his way to pit road, but honestly, it'd be better if he just took the tow at this point. As drivers up front, Danny Cochran, that of Jacob Morris, Vincent Sora, Chris Norris, as well as Thomas Walter, your top 5, with Stone, as well as Kirk, as well as that of Dakota Moniz in 8th, that of Earhart in 9th, Thomas Green in 10th. I mean, our whole entire top 10 completely different from what it's been like all race long with the, sprinkles of drivers that have been up there all night long and the drivers that have been patient all night long as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing a whole different batch, like you said, of drivers. I mean, all of them have different types of stories. I mean, you're looking at right now, I mean, 3 guys up front right now, decorated guys in the Cup Series. You know, these guys are guys that have, you know, not only ran well, but, you know, some of these guys have won races in the Cup Series. So, I mean, you're looking at some strong contenders up here, but you got to think about Christopher Norris, a newcomer, Jeffrey Stone, Christopher Kurrick, a newcomer. You know, these are guys that are looking to get a win. Also, Thomas Green. We talked about him being back there in back of the pack with his teammate of Jarrett. You know, they were back there riding. It looks like his teammate might have got taken out there in that calamity. Actually, no, he is still in the lead lap. So the 83, Jarrett Talmage, is still in the lead lap. So we'll see if the 3 and the 83 can somewhat still get the working together, but we'll see how it works out. A lot of new names, some old names too. It's going to be fun to watch how this all works out down at the end to see who's the first winner here at the NAISCC Truck Series.
And drama is piling in as Zachary Compton got the lucky dog as drivers on the backstretch getting stacked up, ready to go green. When we go green, 7 laps to go. But Ethan Smith and Compton making contact with one another as Compton was coming up to the tail end of the drivers of this lead pack, running over the rear end of the 00, getting front end damage for the 81, major rear end damage to the 00. Drama is already building up here early in the NAISCC Truck Series. But man, do we love a little bit of drama here, Zach, and all of this presented by Race Car Graveyard. And we are certainly prepared for more racing action. Gonna be 7 laps to go here. It's Danny Cochran, Jacob Morris, Norris, Sora, Walter, your top 5. As we wait for the pace car to pull off. Got huge thanks to all of our sponsors, Track Racer, Rambling Redeemed, Hot Lap Designs, also Race Car Graveyard, ButtKicker, as well as McConey Setup Shops. They set it all up. It's time for racing as aggressive diving down low before the line. We'll see if the admins want to talk about that one as Danny Cochran and most of our front 7 all gonna be single filed out as we go into turn number 1.
Yeah, that was a very wild restart there. It's all single filed out now, and Norris jumping to the bottom a little bit too early, possibly. They, like you said, might have to look into that situation. Here's the first one to jump up, the 18 of Jeffrey Stone with the 69 of Christopher Kurrick behind him.
Kurrick as well as Moniz. Moniz, we've seen him be willing to go 3 wide. He's going to be trying to duck low, try to find as much space as possible. Our front 8 all in line, starting to get side by side. This is going to be Stone as well as Walter. Now Moniz is going to be moving up to the higher line, but here comes the surge of drivers that I've been just trying to keep an eye on. That's going to be Trevor Earhart as well as Loveland and Green. All 3 of those drivers in line on the outside row. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to force it 3 wide as we're 6 laps to go here at Daytona.
Oh, and there goes the 18 up the racetrack. He opens up that lane, but they're going to let him back in there. Oh, a little bit of possible contact there, even between the 15 and the 57. Now coming off a 2. Can Walter get the push he needs? The 18's ducking out behind him there. That's not going to help there. It's down the inside line, pulling forward down the back straightaway.
I'm getting nervous for this front row because a lot of these drivers now that are making these daring moves are drivers that have been lingering back, kind of being conservative. Now they're trying to get aggressive at the latest time they can, and they have not been in this scenario all race long. The mindset has to change, and drivers are wobbling and moving all over the place, and it's going to leave Green all on his lonesome in that 3rd lane. But up front, side by side, it's Danny Cochran, Jacob Morris as they lead their front rows. It is cranking up. 5 laps to go.
Get your spicy emotes out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's about to get there because 5 to go. Our top 2 leaders jumped up to the outside lane. I'm unsure why they did that, giving up the bottom lane. Now Morris has the advantage down low with the help of Christopher Norris, and they're wrecking behind.
It's going to be that of Sean Sutler as well as Tanner Johnson to the inside, and Smith's going to just wobble around, bringing out that wreck in the back in yellow waves. 5 laps to go, and the timing of this yellow could be putting us in a scenario of overtime.
Oh, man. Huge moment there on the back straightaway, and the 00. I don't know if something was broke on the rear end, but he just had a big moment, kind of wobbled back and forth and lost that thing.
There's been a lot of moments where it just seems like either something's just broke or drivers just given up and they just let the car fly out. I've been seeing a lot of that here tonight. As you see Smith going up into the outside, believe that was that of Colley, and it was, as well as Green, heavily contact. And this was kind of the second issue that happened after all. And then drivers, once again, I mean, all night long, been seeing the same thing of drivers just piling in and really not slowing down when they come to these wrecks.
Yeah, we call that the good old fashioned ARCA break, and oh yeah, we've seen a good one there, a couple of them, and I for a lot of people, I just don't understand why you don't come to almost a complete, not a complete stop, but slow down a good bit and try to get out of harm's way. Just piling into it, you're just hurting yourself, and I've seen a lot of cars that are piling into that really didn't need to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is something that I think the admins and everyone's going to try to figure out how to clean up as the season rolls along. But a lot of drivers that have never raced with one another before, and those tendencies that other drivers are willing to do, that's something that you're going to have to work on. As all the drivers should be good to go, as it is 4 laps to go. But right now, it's going to be that of Jacob Morris, Danny Cochran, that of Morris, Sora, Walter, as well as the 96 of Kirk, as well as Forbes. And Stone, Moniz, and Pooler going to be in the top 10.
Now this is I still go back to it. I don't understand the call from Cochran and Sora to jump into the outside lane. I just think having 2 teammates on the bottom lane, especially with Sora there in second, we know how good a pusher he is. He's been able to push drivers multiple times tonight very well. I just that is just an interesting call from them to jump up top there. Maybe trying to help, Walter. I know they're not teammates with Walter, but, maybe there was some type of conversation between those 3 to help each other in this race, maybe a little alliance. But, yeah, that just gave up the bottom lane. And Morris said, thank you very much. This is the second time tonight somebody's done that for me and just gave me the bottom lane. I'll take the lead.
Yeah, it's we've been head scratching, I feel like, all night. I think maybe it is because of the jitters and drivers feeling like, hey, I've got to make a hero move here to try to win this race, or hey, maybe if we're in line, maybe we're gonna make a surge. But I know we've seen multiple passes of coming out of turn 4, that outside line finds enough speed to be ahead when they come across the line. It might be that type of mentality of, hey, we're in line, we're on the outside, we've got a shot to just make that last surge to make a heroic pass late. But same time, when white flag is waved, there's going to be no yellow. There's going to be a lot of the gloves off, bumping going on, and these clean kind of passes you've been seeing, something we're not expecting to see a lot of, as the pace car getting ready to come across the line. And this could be indicating to us overtime because of the timing of that yellow. It is. We are now officially into overtime. Our first attempt of possibly 3. It means the drivers are going to be having, when they go green, it's like 2 laps to go. When they wave around, if they get to the white flag, 1 to go, then we race it to the end. But if we get a yellow before then, we'll go into attempt number 2. We'll try it all over again. If we cannot get to the white flag again, we'll go into our 3rd and final attempt. We'll see how these drivers attack. But Zach, overtime, would you want it any other way?
Oh, no, you wouldn't here at Daytona with the trucks, the season opener, the series opener. I mean, this is for all the marbles. This is what we all came here to watch. Morris going to elect to take the outside lane, put Cochran on the bottom to separate the 2 teammates. That might have been a very good call from that 10's part. Now, we'll see if he can get himself to the bottom, though. That's going to be the question. Or can Christopher Norris push Danny Cochran to the win?
Oh, man, when you split up drivers that have been working together, it can backfire very quickly, because you never know. Danny Cochran could just let, it could be one of those things where you let the other driver go. As being the second driver, he could just let Vincent Sora drop down if they get the timing right, but it is going to be a lot of work. Patience needs to be seen here, but it's time to figure out who's going to win the first race of the inaugural NAISCC Truck Series presented by Race Car Graveyard for the rumbling redeemed 187. The pace truck getting ready to go down. Our first attempt at overtime for the Truck Series here at Daytona. Pace truck is off. It's time to buckle up, take a deep breath, because we are green for overtime, as it's already ducking down, finding your friends. Front 3, front 4, single filed out as they head into turn number 1.
And looking at the two teammates get hooked up, they gang up on the 10. This is a big moment here. They need to push by here and get down low and clear that number 10 machine here as they come out of 2. What a move from Cochran and Sora.
They're clear, they can drop down, but there's already going to be a little bit bumpy. Norris going to be making moves, and 69 going to be hitting into stone, but they hold on, they stay straight as we're on the backstretch. Everyone trying to merge back into the racing surface, but that could have been another big one. Is Danny Cochran, Vincent Sora, they got to be careful because they got the man who was aggressive in the first 5 laps behind them. It's Morris, as well as Walter, who's been patient, as well as Norris, but we won't get to the white flag. They're wrecking in the back.
Yeah, I seen that one come with how many checkups we had there. It looks like the 81 Zachary Compton there coming through the field, just trying to make a lot of moves there, and it just kind of maybe might have ran someone over.
And because we're in overtime, we will go into attempt number 2 of the evening. Whew. Zach, we get to calm down for another time. You know it's just going to ramp up more and more, and because of this caution, the drivers, that of Danny Cochran, Vincent Sora, they got to figure out how they want to line up once again.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question here as we look through here and see exactly what happened here. Yeah, you can see multiple guys in the back here involved here to bring out this yellow to set us up for another green-white checker. But like you said there, Sam, they're going to pick how they want to do this now. You got Morris in third, Sora and Cochran out front. I would not be surprised if you see Cochran start in the outside lane and try to get down in front of Sora. I think that's the way to go. But at the same time, you risk giving Thomas Walter a good jump on the outside.
Yeah, multiple drivers having to come into pit road, that of Compton as well as that of Thomas Green, that of Kirk Schwalzer as well as a few others that have already been in pit road for quite a long time, such as Ethan Smith, Brandon Colley, Pike, Morales, Thordick, plenty of other drivers that have been in pit road for quite a long time, just trying to gain as much as they can here. But this is going to be our second attempt of 3. We can use that third if needed, but at this point, the question is, how many drivers are going to be left? And I know there are going to be a lot of unhappy drivers after this one. And the question of, will this type of race and these incidences build on to someone having an argument or maybe an on-race incident later on in the season?
Well, I can tell you this much: the boxing ring is going to be used tonight here in the Discord. That's where they get all their little bit of arguing out after the race to get all those extra feelings out of the way. Hopefully not to carry them on to the next week. But I can tell you one thing: drivers are like elephants. We do not forget anything. You do one thing to me during a race, I will remember that for the rest of eternity. I can tell you that much. So drivers, they definitely keep score on each other and remember what happens to them early in the season, even if it is a mistake.
Everyone's still in line, and I'm looking at the fuel for window for some of these drivers. For all the drivers that are in right now, looking at our top 8 currently, that's going to be Cochran, Sora, Morris, Walter, that of Norris, as well as Forb and Moniz, as well as Pooler. They all pitted 30 laps ago, so fuel, I don't think it's going to be as difficult because of all the pacing laps that we've had, but they certainly were on the questionable side if we had more than 3 attempts at overtime. But now, you've got your top 8 that have been 30 laps out on track with some of them with fresh rubber that they got at that point. Other drivers just went with fuel. So I know tires isn't really a factor, Zach, but if drivers did come in to grab tires, would that help in any way, or would it just be, just get fuel and race it to the end?
Tires can help stability. They always can help stability, but I think tires are not going to be a big question. Fuel also, you would think you would want less fuel in the race truck due to the fact of, it'd be lighter. But the fact is that actually with all that weight on the rear end, it actually drops the spoiler a little bit and drops the rear ride heights, which gets that spoiler out the air a little bit more. So technically having a little more fuel is a little bit quicker than having low fuel here in these speedway cars like this. So we'll see if someone maybe elects to do that. But yeah, tires don't think it'll be too much of an issue right now. I think it's kind of rung what you brung. Try to get everything you can here, because remember, this isn't the last attempt. We could have another one.
Yeah, certainly can be, as we are here for the NAISCC truck race presented by Race Car Graveyard, and there certainly have been a lot of cars that have been sent to the graveyard that you can get yourself custom diecasts as well as, classics, or even get, ones that are current of diecast cars, anywhere from that being of 116s to 124s. I mean, 164s, they are out there for Race Car Graveyard, as well as thanks for that of Rambling Redeemed for joining us for the Rambling Redeemed 187 here at Daytona for the inaugural race of the Truck Series for the NAISCC Series. We got to see the Cup cars the last 2 seasons here on Freaking Fast Broadcasting, and on Saturday nights it's time to expand, and they have done a fabulous job at that. We are now in our second attempt at overtime. We'll see if we can finish it here for the Rambling Redeemed 187. Already seeing green flag in the air. It's going to be that of Danny Cochran. Will he drop down or stay with Thomas Walter? He's staying, he's lingering. He finally's going to drop down in front of Vincent Sora as they head into turn number 1.
Oh, man, he gave me a little bit of a worry right there. He might have waited a little too long, and Vincent would have had to back out of it. Luckily, gets down right in front of that 15 here, heading through 1 and 2. Big run from this bottom line, but look at that, the number 11 of John Forbes. He's coming into the picture here for the first time tonight. Started at 10th position, kind of hung around that mid-pack all night long here on the outside line, helping Walter.
Got to be helping Walter, but it's just 2 trucks against the world at this point as they're slicing and dicing, trying to figure out where they want to place themselves to the outside. Dakota Moniz trying to get some help, and he might have it as he's got the 81, but 71 and Cooler going to be giving a slight bump to the 5 as they're coming at turn number 4, coming to the white flag. If we get it, we race it to the end as it's going to be the Cosmic Candles, 1 to go across the line, and it is now time. We get to see who's going to win this race here as they're going to be really seeing Danny Cochran, Vincent Sora. Can they defend on the inside? This is Thomas Walters and others. It might have to be a bump to the corner, and already Walter to the outside as they're on the backstretch. It's just going to be a 4-horse race as they're flipping and dashing behind. It's Danny Cochran, Vincent Sora, but watch out, the surge. Here comes Jacob Morrison, the 10. He might have a run to the outside.
What does Sora do? That's going to be the question here. He's got the help of Morrison to the back bumper coming out of 4. Cochran going to look for his first career win here.
Danny Cochran, he might be holding on, but they're going to be 3 wide coming to the triangle, and it's going to be the 2 by a nose here at Daytona. Danny Cochran winning the Rambling Redeemed 187 for the first race of the NAISCC Truck Series, and it was a darn good one for Danny Cochran. It was a little bit scary on that restart, but he got it done.
What a job by Danny Cochran here to get the first win of this series. Congrats to him. I know he's worked super hard to build this series with the rest of the team there at the admin group here. And look at that, going to come out here tonight with the help of his teammate Sora, who made the late move to try to get it done. Couldn't get there. Jacob Morris will come up with 3rd here, sliding across the line. Christopher Norris, though, what a run for him there. 25th to 4th in that number 38 machine for that newcomer. A lot of great things here in the opening race. What a wild finish, though.
Yeah, I mean, for that of Jarrett Talmadge, who's going to be coming in 6th place, up 26 positions, one of our biggest movers of the night. You got to be thinking for a lot of these drivers, a lot of hard work went into trying just to survive. We took 80 laps, and that's all we needed. 2 overtime attempts, and Danny Cochran, who got up front, stayed up front, and honestly, most of that has to be given to Vincent Sora for being right there. Great team effort, but it's Danny Cochran able to burn it down here in the 2 truck at Daytona. Congratulations to Danny Cochran winning the Rambling Redeemed 187 for the first race, the inaugural race of the NAISCC Truck Series presented by Race Car Graveyard. Congratulations to the 2. And for us at Freaking Fast Broadcasting, we're going to step aside for a quick second. When we come back, Zach's got that of Jacob Morris, Vincent Sora, and we head to Victory Lane to talk to Danny Cochran. We'll be back in just a few.
All right, we are back here, ladies and gentlemen, for our season opener here at Daytona. And we got our top 3 finishers up here waiting to get a chat with myself up here in the booth. Let's hear from your third place man, Jacob Morris, after a good solid run here to start off his tenure here in the Truck Series. Oop, I can't move him. Never mind. We will try to figure this out. We'll see if our producer Robert might be able to get Jacob up here. It seems like I don't have the rights for that. Hey, oh, never mind. We're moved down. Let's see real quick here. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, as we figure this out. And there we go. We got our third place man, Jacob Morris, up in the booth. Jacob, you got a copy of Zach up in the booth. Hey, Jacob and Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Hey, Jacob, man. Well, fantastic way to start out the series here for yourself, man. Running up front most of the night here in that 10 machine. Starting in that third position, able to bring it home in third, man. Take us through those final moments there, trying to beat those 2 teammates in front of you.
There was not a whole lot I could do. Just try to get Vince loose coming out of 4, and try to get around the high, and we just made contact.
Yeah, man, it was definitely a wild race coming down to the end there, and tough there for you to get into that third position, able to get that back there and hang on to third, man. So congrats on that. Next week we head off to Rockingham. That's going to be a little bit different, definitely, than Daytona. How you feel about heading off into the first? I would say, real track to see where the pace is at here in the series.
Oh, I'm excited for sure. It's gonna be a lot different than running the super speedway back in.
Well, man, you had a good showing out here tonight, Jacob, with that third place finish in that 10 machine, man. Definitely great to see you get that top 3 here to start off the season. Before we let you get out of here, man, and go celebrate, anybody want to send a shout out to you, Jacob?
Shot Go Coast Connection and James Jody Racing. That's it.
All right, Jacob. Thank you very much, buddy. You have a great night, and we will catch you next week at Rockingham, buddy. Congrats on third. And all right, ladies and gentlemen, that was your third place man, Jacob Morris, here tonight in that 10 machine. What a run it was for him, starting in that third position, able to bring it home in third. But now we'll move ourselves on to the second place man, Vincent Sora. Vincent, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Hey, man, well, a great run for yourself tonight between you and your teammate there of Danny. What great work between you two coming down to the end. Take us through it there. That had to be nerve-wracking with those cautions there coming down to the end, but what great teamwork between you two.
Yeah, it was very nerve-wracking. In those final couple of restarts, it was basically just the teammate game. We're both going for the win, but it was really whoever just got down in front of who going into 1 or coming out of 2 or wherever it happened. We were just going to push that truck in front of us. And we did it perfect. I was hoping on that second to last green white checker that we would have gone green, but either way, it was a great result and the end of the way we wanted it to. So I'm just super happy for Danny. He really deserved it. He's been trying really hard, and I'm just really proud.
Yeah, man, it was some great teamwork between you two. They're perfectly timed, and definitely had to fight it off there as we got 2 green white checkers to make it a little nerve-wracking for you guys up front. But, man, you guys were able to do it. Now we're going to head off into Rockingham. We talked about it, me and Sam up here in the booth. We said, you're possibly one of the favorites here this season with how you performed in the Cup Series through last season. How do you feel about once we get out of Daytona here, the Super Speedway? What do you feel about going into that tough track at Rockingham, man?
I feel pretty good. I don't know. I like Rockingham. I'm just kind of worried about my long run speed, but I know that short run speed is there. We've done a few practice races, and I was pretty quick for the first about 15 laps. Kind of fell off a little bit, but it should be fun. Rockingham's a fun track to drive these trucks around.
Yeah, they definitely will be very fun to watch from up here in the booth. You guys sliding around that old style racetrack there in Rockingham, North Carolina, man. Congrats on second here tonight, Vincent. It was fun to watch you guys out there pushing your heart out to get to that lead, man. It was a really great battle. Before we let you get out of here, though, anybody want to send a shout out to in that 15 machine?
Oh, for sure. First and foremost, Danny, great job. Really happy for him. I got to give another shout out to him for the beautiful paint schemes that he's been making me for a long time now. They look great. And really getting the recognition they deserve up here in 1-2. Buddy's Custom Baits, and you guys for broadcasting. You guys do a fantastic job.
Well, Vincent, we thank you very much, buddy, for putting on a show out there for us each and every week. It's a pleasure able to call the action up here on Monday nights and race with you guys on Saturday nights as always. So congrats on second year night, buddy. We'll catch you next week at Rockingham. Go ahead and get out of here so you can celebrate this thing with your team.
All right, thanks, boys.
All right, everybody. That was Vincent Sawyer, second place man here tonight. What a drive it was from him. But the man who was able to bring it home, the winner tonight here in the season opener and the first here at the series in the Truck Series. Man, what a night it's been here for Danny Cochran. Danny, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy.
I got you, Zach.
Man, Danny, I got to tell you, buddy, what a great way to end tonight here, especially for the season opener. You worked so hard with all your admins here to get this league going. Now to come out here to Daytona, put into words to us how it feels to come out here with the season opening win.
It just feels it's awesome, man. I've been gunning for winning a Cup Series for a while. Hadn't quite made it happen there yet, but come out here in the inaugural race and make it happen is just awesome. Which it never would have happened if it wasn't for Vincent pushing me like he did. CSR was looking really good out there tonight, and sorry about that, but yeah, it was just great to get it done tonight. I'm on cloud 9.
I can only imagine, man, that win like that has got to be great, especially with teamwork like that. Like you said, the help from your teammate there, Vincent Sawyer there, was so critical coming down to the end there, man. How, you guys worked those restarts very well. How did y'all work that out before the caution there?
Well, part of it was just luck of the draw getting lined up together. And another part of it, we just, under yellow, we'd communicate back and forth how we wanted to get lined up to get us both the best result possible there. And it just kind of fell into our lap exactly like we wanted it to. And yeah, I couldn't be happier, prouder of Vince for the awesome pushing and everything. It was just came together picture perfect.
That it did, Danny. It came together definitely picture perfect, my friend. Now also the big picture with it too. You got to win, but now you're locked into the playoffs too. As long as you can compete for the rest of the season, man. I mean, how do you feel about that now? Getting that off your back to know I'm locked in. I just go out there and have some fun now and maybe get some more wins.
Oh, it's a burden off my chest, no doubt about that. I'm really happy to be on the inside looking out, I guess you could say now, and just being able to enjoy the rest of the regular season. I don't think we'll have an issue making the playoffs, and it's a big burden off my chest, that's for sure.
Yeah, man, I know how that feels. It's great to see you get into those playoffs and great to see you get the win here tonight, man. It was so fun to watch you guys battle with such a big field here tonight, man. It was tremendous, I must say. But before we let you get out here and go celebrate with your teammates there, Danny, anybody want to send a shout out to on this number 2 machine?
Hot Lap Designs, Buddy's Custom Baits, came out here with a fresh new paint scheme. First time I've ever ran it, and put it in victory lane on the first try. So that's pretty cool. And any of my friends and family that's watching this thing, whether it's live or on a replay. And last but certainly not least, Vincent for shoving the crap out of me there, exactly like I wanted him to. Just being the best teammate I could ask for out there.
That's awesome stuff, buddy. I tell you what, congrats on the win here tonight. Go celebrate that with your team, and we will catch you next week at Rockingham, my friend.
Oh, last shout out to you guys for making it happen. Best broadcasters I've ever seen, honest to goodness. And we really appreciate you guys and looking forward to an awesome season with y'all.
Hey, man, we are looking forward just as much as you are. It is a great night here. Had a lot of energy up in the booth and a lot of energy out there on the track, and we can't wait to continue, buddy. So, again, you have a great night, and we will catch you next week.
Yes, sir. See y'all.
And that was your winner there, ladies and gentlemen. What a drive it was from Danny Cochran to pull off the race victory here tonight at the Ramblin' Redeems 187 here at the Daytona International Speedway. We'll go ahead and pull up our race results here tonight. As you can see, what a group we have here. Danny Cochran with that season opening win. Man, I'm telling you, he has got to be ecstatic. They're going to be very, very excited here tonight, celebrating that victory between those two teammates. As Soar's going to come in second. Third is going to be Jacob Morris, the Cup Series veteran. Fourth is going to go to Christopher Norset, newcomer. Fifth, also there, John Forbes, a great top 5 for him. Jarrett Telmage there coming home in sixth after getting caught up in a few wrecks. That's a good rebound for him. Seventh for Jeffrey Stone. Eighth's going to go to Dakota Moniz. Ninth's going to be Christopher Kirk. 10th's going to go to Joshua Freed. 11th's going to be Billy O. Smith. 12th's going to be James Hubble. 13th's going to be Trevor Earhart. 14th's going to be Tyler Dingler. 15th's going to be Sean Huffstutler. 16th's going to go to Max Foner. 17th's going to be Thomas Walter. 18th is going to go to Carl Poole. 19th, Cody Dorsey. 20th is going to be John McAdam. 21st is going to be Anthony Ludi. 22nd is going to be James Loveland. 23rd is going to be Aaron Kralik. 24th is going to be Tanner D. Johnson. 25th is going to be Kyle Guildhouse. 26th, Robert Schmuck. 27th is going to be Zachary Compton. 28th, Thomas Green. 29th, Kirk Schweitzer. 30th is going to go to Jesse Thornick. 31st for Brandon Colley. 32nd, Ethan Smith. 33rd is going to be Joshua Pike. 34th, Martin Morales Jr. 35th, Ryan Ferrero. 36th will be Preston Cope. 37th, Nicholas Compton. 38th, Justin Starnez. And rounding out your field in the 39th position is will be Gregory Shaw in the 66 machine as 39 trucks took the field here tonight. And what a night it was here at Daytona for the NAISCC Truck League here. Season opener, series opener. I mean, we are doing a lot of firsts here tonight at this Daytona Raceway, and it was a pleasure to call. And we definitely want to make sure to send a last and final shout out to all the sponsors who helped make it happen here tonight. As, of course, the title sponsor here, Race Car Graveyard, Track Racer, and Hot Lap Designs, bringing great sponsorship to this league here. And also ButtKicker and the McConey Setup Shop for Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It has been a special, special night up here in the booth. And we cannot wait to head on to Rockingham, where we'll get the action kicked off again next week. We want to thank all you again for tuning in here. It's been, like I said, a special night. So make sure if you haven't yet, before you get out of here, hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed it. Hit the thumbs down button if you didn't. We always like to know how we satisfy our crowd out there. So we want to know the cold, hard truth up here in the booth. And if you haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscription and the bell notification button to let yourself be notified when we go live each and every night here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as always, for some 1440p iRacing action. But, man, I nothing really else to add for myself in the booth. I'm sure Sam wanted to say bye to everybody for him. He had a great time in the booth. He had to skedaddle and get on out of here. But now we're going to send it up to our producer to close out tonight's race here at Daytona, the season opener. Here's Robert Moore Jr., our producer.
Wow. Well, thanks, Zach. You said all the words that I needed to say to everybody out there. What a season opener. Congratulations to Danny. What a great field. Congratulations to all the drivers that has shown up here tonight for this season opener here at Daytona International Speedway with the truck side of things. Man, it's been great calling. It's been great action. We knew the beating and banging was coming. It's only a matter of time at Daytona when you just start shoving and you start pushing and you just start trying to bully your way around. I mean, that's Daytona for you. I mean, we seen it coming. It's just, you got to be at the right place at the right time, and guess what? Danny was at the right place at the right time, and he got the win, and he locks himself in, to the playoffs. So, I mean, the rest of the season now, Zach, for that guy is just go out there and just get as many wins as you can now. You know what I mean?
Definitely so, Robert. I think his goal is going to be able to go rack him up. And from what I've heard, I got a little birdie on the inside telling me details of practice races and stuff, and that number 2's been pretty quick at some tracks here in these practice races. So I've heard about some other newcomers, too, that have shown some pace. I'm very, very interested once we head off into Rockingham to see that true, pecking order as we go back and forth between the tracks. So we got an excellent schedule also. I mean, I'm excited. Monday nights, I race with a lot of these guys on Saturday nights. Love them to death. They're such a great group to work with. And now I get to call some of the action that these guys do on Monday nights. It's a win-win for Zach all up in the booth.
Oh, yeah, for you, most definitely. You get to learn a little bit maybe about some drivers sitting up on the outside calling some of the action that you can take on the Sunday and say, I know your trick, buddy. But anyways, that starts in October as they have the NAICC, the Cup Series starting up in October. They did finally release the schedule for us to look it over there. So we'll be looking at over here at Freaky Fast and getting the final touches and getting ready for that coming up in October. But I also, before we sign off here at Daytona International Speedway, to everybody out there that goes back and watches this replay or is still watching us live, thank you for tuning in here tonight. Thank you for giving us some likes and subscribes. We do much appreciate it. The viewership tonight was amazing viewership that we had out there tonight, rooting on your friends, family, whatever it could have been out there, teammates, different things like that. So we do much appreciate that very, very much here at Freaky Fast. But with that being said, we're going to pack up, get ready to turn the lights off here at Daytona International Speedway. And next Monday night, we're going to be at Rockingham, and that's going to be some fun racing as we go live at 8:50. Our next televised broadcast here at Freaky Fast is kind of a low-grade week here at Freaky Fast. Normally, we're pretty busy through the week, but our next one will be with Underdog Racing League at 8:30. So if you got time, make sure you come out and give us a chat on YouTube at 8:30 on Wednesday nights, and then also on Thursday nights as we'll have Stars and Stripes. At 9:20 Eastern is when we'll be live for there. So come out there if you're free on Thursday nights to give us a holler. And then our next one after that, we'll be right back here with these guys here at Rockingham. But until then, we're going to sign off here from Daytona International Speedway. Sam Dyer, Zach Hall, and Robert A. Moore up here in the booth here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting wants to say God bless everybody. Yeah, I just messed that all up. But God bless everybody. Love yous all. Peace out.